Hello everybody and welcome back to Tatiana's Toolbox. Today I'm going to talk about astrology and if you have been feeling stuck in your life, that things are not moving, that you don't know where to go or how to move about life, astrology is a phenomenal tool to get you unstuck and moving. And I'm going to explain here why. What is astrology? Basically, in simple terms, it is a road map. When you were born, the planets were in a certain position, and depending on where they were in the sky, it's like making a copy, clink, when you were born, clink, and that's your blueprint. Like, oh, this is the energy that will rule this person. And the planets, each planet has an energy of their own, like a personality, if you would like to think about it. The planets are not just some balls of gas and fire and rock hanging out in the sky. They're really not. Planets are conscious, but they're larger consciousness than ourselves. So we may look at the sky and say, yeah, well, it's just a ball of gas. Yeah, the matter. But planets are conscious, like Gaia is conscious, is a conscious being. So in their consciousness, they have certain energies or personalities, if we would like to look at them as little people. They're like friends, and depending on the position where they were in the sky at the time of your birth, it's like they are in certain relationship to each other. So if this were like a play, they would be like in a scene where some things are happening. So the relationships between them determine, you will rule your existence on the planet. So when you were born, the planets were in a certain position, and guess what? Maybe some were in a difficult position and some were in an easy position. So when you get this blueprint or this map, you're born, and if you don't ignore it, it's like seriously having a guide. Let's say you want to go from Venice to Rome. And why I choose Rome? Because all roads lead to Rome. Anyway, and there's a person A, and I tell them, okay, you have to go from here to Rome. And then there's a person B, and I give them actually a map of how to get there. Well, the person A is going to try like, okay, where do I start? So they're going to try one way, then another way, then go back, then probably find the way out, then maybe follow, then, encounter dead ends, and then eventually they get to Rome, eventually. And then the person B with the map, they're going to go, oh yeah, I just have to follow this and I'll just get there. And they will, more efficiently, fast, and successfully. And for this, I'm going to tell you an anecdote, which is real. When I was about 12 years old, I was in Italy with my parents, and we were going to Rome. This is why I chose this story. And we started driving, and then suddenly the road starts getting a little bit like narrow. So we stopped somebody on the road, and they say, and my dad asked, so am I on the right way to get to Rome? And the guy says, oh yes. Just keep going straight, keep going straight. So we keep going straight. My dad keeps going straight. Oh, we're going to Rome. Then eventually the road starts getting really, really rocky and narrow. And we're like wandering after a couple kilometers. Like, okay, this is weird. So we ask another person. I'm not sure. Somebody told me we're on the way to Rome. And the guy just started laughing and said, well, yes, eventually we'll get to Rome. That's the old way to Rome. But you would be better off if you took the highway. And that's that way. So you see, then we went on the highway and off we went. And in 2 hours we were in Rome. It would have taken us probably a whole day. So you see the difference? This little anecdote has its place here, because it's exactly what astrology is about. Is whether you want to navigate life with a map or without a map. And either way, you're gonna get to the destiny. If it's not in this lifetime, in the next. But that's the whole point. Who wants to keep reincarnating lifetime after lifetime after lifetime because we just didn't get the lesson or did not understand how to fully get there? So this is why it is useful, because it is a map. And I'm going to talk about now a second thing, or a second aspect, and this is where I would urge you to pay close attention. One of the most important tools within astrology, and this is the North Node. So what are the nodes? The nodes are basically the opposite points in the moon. And to make it simple, let's pretend that the North Node is the mouth. So the mouth is where it expands, where you move forward. And let's say the South Node is the butthole. So the butthole is where you get rid of things that you do not want, like, yeah, that's what you want to be. Identify. Your South Node is the butthole. Your North Node is the mouth, right? Where, you express, you speak. And the North Node is when you were born, the moon was in a certain position. So the North Node points to the position, to a sign in your birth. So the moon was in a certain position, you were born, and your North Node is in a certain sign. This sign, what it means, the North Node means it's pointing towards the soul's lesson or destiny, meaning what the soul came here to learn, what it came here to do, to experience and to integrate. Basically, it's the things we don't know what to do or the soul wants to experience, because the other things, the South Node, the soul knows how to do that. It's been doing it forever. So now it wants a new experience. So it sets up the stage so that the North Node is the pointer towards the destiny. So if we pay attention to the North Node in the sign that it's there, we will know where are we headed. And if we know what to avoid or what's in our South Node, then we know where we should not be, or what we should absolutely be releasing in this life. So the sooner, the better. And why am I saying this? And why is so important, this North Node thing? Because we can spend a lot of time indulging in our South Node position, just indulging in it, indulging in whatever our old patterns, habits are. We just indulge in them, and we're like, but I'm this way, I am this way. Whereas the soul wants to move forward and say, no, I want to be that way. But then we keep doing the same old. So you know what? The faster and more efficiently we get into our North Node purpose, position, things to do, which, yes, it's going to be hard because it's challenging to integrate new things. Like, let's say, if you're going to study a career, right? When on your first day, you don't know anything. And it's going to be hard. You're going to have to read books and understand things and write essays. And that's why you have teachers and you learn, and you think, oh, this is difficult, I'm not going to be able to achieve it. But eventually, as you get good at it, at the end, when you graduate, well, you actually graduate, you get your certificate, and then you are a graduate. You're like, I did it. And then you can practice. This is the same thing, but with life. The sooner you start getting in alignment with your North Node, the sooner you will start to get into an enjoyable, successful, fulfilling life, because your soul wants that. So the way the soul does things is, when you feel unfulfilled, sad, anxious, like crap, you're probably doing those old patterns. And when you start doing those things that are aligned with the purpose or the soul's mold, the soul's growth, wow, then you start feeling good about yourself. So that is your pointer. Your pointer is, how do I feel? So that's why when we're stuck in situations over and over again, repeating patterns over and over again, that's because we certainly do not want to do the work that our North Node is pointing towards. So this is why the North Node is very important. And the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is how the soul preps you for this. This is a download actually I got the other day that was like big insight. So basically what happens is you are born. You have chosen as a soul the conditions. That's why you kind of make these agreements with the planets actually before you're born, so that they're in these positions, so you get your blueprint. Like before you're born, when you're there kind of making your plan with your guides and like, how am I gonna do this, and am I gonna set the stage for this. Yeah, all the planets are kind of also going, yeah, and I'm gonna be here, there, and they are going to give you the map. The planets provide the map. Your guide says, we're gonna be here cheering for you, so that you actually don't forget your map, and that you actually accomplish your mission, what you set forth to do as a soul. And then you're born and you forget everything. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm here. What is this planet, right? And the soul sets the stage in the early childhood with the interactions of the difficult energies or whatever you need to experience in order for you to have that challenge. Like difficult family situations or whatever, maybe easy family situations. It just depends on what your soul's mission is. And over the course of the first years, your early years, early teens or 20s, usually what happens is you dabble with the actual tools that will help you accomplish your North Node. You will actually dabble with them, because you'll feel good when you're doing that. It's like being guided, like in a container, safe container, where yes, you see, you have this, you're gonna develop this, go on. So because you feel good, you're confident. I have this, I've got this. I feel good when I do this, and oh, when I don't do this, I don't feel good. And as life continues and you start growing up, and then things started happening that start bringing you back and back into the position of the things you need to release. And then at some point, there is the crisis. Some people call it the midlife crisis. It's before the second birth, actually. And it happens at different times for different people. And what happens? Everything suddenly just stops. Like as if your own soul, your own higher self took everything away from you. All the things that you had already kind of accomplished, more or less, that were pointing into the direction, they're all taken away. And you're put in situations where you're like, panic. You're left like on your own. And that's when everything usually just breaks down. You don't know where you're headed. You're completely lost. And this is your soul's way of saying, okay, now we guided you. We gave you the tools. Now step into it. You can do it. You were here to do this. So you will be tested time and again after this, because your soul wants to make sure that you actually integrate it. So it will get harder and harder the more stubborn you are in not wanting to release those patterns, those old habits, the things your soul does not want anymore. It will just get harder. And sometimes even through massive clashes. So if you are a spiritual nerd like I am, and smart enough to know that you got a handle on this, and if you came across this video, it's because you probably are, and you are seeing that, okay, I'm stuck somewhere and I better get my shit together. I better get this, and I better get the shit out the butthole, out. So this is what I'm encouraging you to do now, is to look up where your North Node is. There are charts on the internet. You just look up North Node charts, and I'll post a link to where you can find a North Node chart. Find where your North Node is just by entering your date of birth. And depending on the sign, you'll see there's many tools out there to tell you what your North Node is and what your South Node is. and you'll know what to strive for and then what to release. And then knowing this, you gain your power back. You have sovereignty because you know where to go. And if you don't do it, then it's up to you. You have your free will. If you want to stay stuck in your ways, then so be it. But then don't come complaining and whining and pining and saying, why is my life tough misery? It's okay. When you don't know, you don't know. But when you have a tool, an element, then do it. This is why I have created this channel, to give tools, all kinds of tools. I'll give you meditation tools, astrology tools, movement tools, whatever tools I can give you, I will give you. But please, please use them. That's the whole point. We're all growing together. And I'm going to make one last note about south, north, and north nodes. When you have your sun sign and in the same position as your south node, know that if this is the case, let's say I'm a sun sign Cancer, and my south node is in Cancer, and I need to go towards Capricorn, which is the north node. It means that I need to become a Capricorn and stop being a Cancer. What is the difficulty with this example? Is like, if I'm a Cancer, I'm so comfortable being there because that's what I am. The sun sign basically says, who are you? So if I'm a Cancer and my south node, which is what I need to release, is a Cancer, well, guess what? You're gonna have to really step it up to become the opposite. To become the opposite, you have to get absolutely out of your ways. So that may be challenging, but there's ways to navigate this. And then there's other people or there's other cases, like my own case. I was born sun sign Virgo, and my north node is Virgo. So guess what? I just need to be who I am and own my power to be this Virgo that I already am. So you see, and then if your sun sign's different from your south node, then it means it depends on how you set up the stage for your own soul's growth. But know that every soul set the stage because they know they can. Because each soul knows, if I set this stage, whether it's difficult or easy, it's because I can do it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have set the stage this way. What I would suggest is really pay attention. If your chart is really difficult, know that you're a very, very courageous soul, and this is what you need to be sticking to, instead of being like, oh, I set up a stage for a difficult life, poor me. No, do not go into that. At all cost, avoid that. On the contrary, if you have like in your chart, you're really set up for success, then go, yes, I am going to succeed at all cost. Do not kind of go and stay in your laurels, kind of like, oh, well, because I'm set up to succeed, I just kind of don't need to make much of an effort. No, on the contrary. Know that because the planets are helping you and are pushing you towards success, well, that's the more reason to actually honor that. Honor your own success. Honor that you are here to succeed. So, and to enjoy and to have a wonderful, joyful life. So regardless of how you set the stage, we are all here meant to have an enjoyable life and to fulfill our individual missions. Whether you're a light worker, whether you are a twin, whether you're a starseed, whether you're just a person passing through the planet to learn a lesson, just doesn't matter. The different missions we took on is different for each soul. So there's no one exact soul that has the same mission. So according to this, I will just encourage you to never, ever, ever give up and use these tools. I'm gonna post some links below so that you can look these things up and take your life in your own hands. And yes, no more whining, no more pining, but we're here to help each other out. With this being said, I wish you a wonderful new year with a lot of energy coming in to push you like crazy into your dreams, into your desired life, into the life you were here to live fulfilled. So get this new energy, write it, and use this tool. I love you all so very much, and I will see you back here very, very soon.